Hare Krishna, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु महाराज की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Harita from Texas, welcoming all of you to the mid-morning japa session of Bhakti Sangha. I would request the devotees on the call to introduce themselves before going to the next session.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Ishamati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for chanting so nicely, Mataji, and thank you for joining the call every day. And all glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, all glories to your services, Mataji.
Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Vrinda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you for giving your association, Mataji, every day, and welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Neetu Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for giving your sweet association every day, and welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If anyone wants to introduce themselves, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Vinita Gambarita.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for giving your association, Mataji, and all glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, if you can start the recording, then we can start, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I once again welcome all of you to Bhakti Sangha Japa Group mid-morning session. So today we have our speaker, Her Grace Priti Vilasini Mataji, and she will be enlightening us on the topic of Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 3. Hare Krishna Priti Vilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj Mataji. Thank you for giving your time and association and enlightening us on this topic today. Before handing over the call to you, I would like to read the verse from Srila Prabhupada Mataji today.
Yes, Mataji, please go.
Just pulling up. Yeah. So today it's February 13th. A devotee always accepts his distress as minimized by God's mercy, although he would have to suffer many more times the suffering. Anyone who accepts this philosophy of God's mercy in suffering conditions and still makes progress in Krishna consciousness, it is said that he is sure to go back to home, back to Godhead. Letter to Gurudas, February 13th, 1968. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances and thank you Mataji for giving your association. Please take over the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining this session. And we are doing Nectar of Devotion on Fridays. And currently we are in Chapter 3. Before we get started with the Chapter 3, we'll do some prayers and then we'll start off with Chapter 3. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम् नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. We are reading Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. It was translated by Srila Prabhupada in a summary format, and it is called as Nectar of Devotion, right? It's called as Nectar of Devotion. And what did we do so far in Nectar of Devotion? We have first and foremost seen the definition of pure devotional service, which is anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavratam anukulena krishnanu sheelanam bhaktiruttama. The first class devotional service, when it develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained from monastic philosophy, and fruitive actions. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. This is also mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 19, verse number 167. So we saw the Swarupa Lakshana and the Tatastha Lakshana of this verse, the primary and the secondary characteristics of pure devotional service. So this was more of an introduction to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then what did we do? We went to chapter 1. What was there in chapter 1? Chapter 1 detailed the characteristics of pure devotional service. There are 6 characteristics in pure devotional service. What are the 6 characteristics? The first is kleshagni, meaning relief from material desires. The second is shubhada, that is attainment of auspiciousness, all auspiciousness. Third is moksha laghu takrit, which means pure devotional service derides even happiness of liberation. Fourth is devotional service, pure bhakti, is sudurlabha. It is very rarely achieved. And the next point is sandrananda viseshatma, which means it automatically puts one in a transcendental pleasure, makes one feel transcendental happiness. And the 6th one was Sri Krishna Akarshani. That means it is the only method to truly attract Krishna. What is the only method? Pure devotional service. So what did we see in that chapter? We saw that the effects of kleshagni and shubhada is seen in the initial stages of bhakti itself, meaning when one develops nishtha, not before that. Okay, that's what we have seen. It's a part of your sadhana bhakti. And then Moksha Laghutakrit and Sudurlabha is seen in Bhav Bhakti, and Sandrananda Viseshatma and Sri Krishna Akarshani is seen in Prema Bhakti. However, you should understand this is cumulative, meaning in Prema Bhakti, not only do you have Sandrananda Viseshatma and Sri Krishna Akarshani, you also have Sudurlabha, Moksha Laghutakrit, Subhada, and Kleshagni. And in Bhav Bhakti, not only do you have Sudurlabha and Moksha Laghutakrit, but you also have Subhada and Kleshagni, and at the stage of Nishtha, one just develops Kleshagni and Shubhada. Right? This is what we saw in chapter number 1. What was chapter number 1? 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. This is what we saw in chapter number 1. Now, chapter number 2 was discussed in the previous session by Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. And in chapter number 2, the discussion was about sadhana bhakti. It is also the second wave of the Eastern wave of second Lahari of the Eastern wave. It's called the first stages of devotion. And the chief discussion in the first stages of devotion was what? The definition of sadhana bhakti. What is sadhana bhakti? Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasas sandhanbhita nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakritam hridi sadhyata. This was the definition of sadhana bhakti. Now let me ask a question to the audience because only I've been talking. The question is, what are the two types of sadhana bhakti?
Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Bhaganuga sadhana
Kruti
bhakti.
sadhya and sadhya bhava.
Yes,
Something
very
like that.
nice. Vaidhi, very nice, very nice. So, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti, and as per the definition Mataji also pointed out. So, these are the two varieties of sadhana bhakti. These are the two varieties of sadhana, which means Raganuga is also a sadhana bhakti. One may perform Vaidhi bhakti and progress, or one may perform Raganuga sadhana bhakti and also progress. But the stages of bhava and prema come much, much later, right? So this is what we saw in the previous session. And we saw the definition of Vaidhi bhakti and what is the inspiration for Vaidhi bhakti and so on. We saw the essence of Vaidhi bhakti. All this we have seen. Now, this chapter number 3 that we're going to start today, speaks about the eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. Okay, so what is this chapter? This chapter is going to speak about the eligibility of a candidate for accepting this devotional service. Now, what are the basic qualifications for practicing devotional service? This is what this chapter is going to discuss. Are we all eligible? Can we practice devotional service? Okay. Can we start devotional service? But then what is the eligibility for pure devotional service and so on? Everything will be discussed in this particular chapter. So let me ask you a question. Is devotional service a result of some cause? Or is it causeless? What is your opinion about devotional service?
Causeless.
Yeah.
Causeless.
Causeless,
Yes.
Mataji.
Causeless. Bhakti is causeless. And do you think there are any prerequisites for a person to take up to bhakti, to take up to sadhana bhakti? We're not even talking about bhava or prema. To start sadhana bhakti, do you think there are any prerequisites?
Yes, Mataji,
No.
so good.
Shraddha?
Yeah.
Okay, Shraddha, very nice. Then
Sukriti
Sukriti
Payal.
Mataji from
Sukriti. Okay, very nice, very nice, very nice.
Surrender. Surrender.
Surrender. Okay, yes. Okay, so
Association.
association, yes. So we will kind of disintegrate this and try to understand it nicely. So in the beginning, to start devotional service, do you need jnana and vairagya?
No.
No, Mataji.
No Mataji.
So if there is only one thing that you need, okay, we don't have so many, I mean, all these answers are interrelated, agreed. But if you have to say one thing that is needed to start bhakti, what would that be? Only one thing.
Intention to think about Lord, love
Detachment
for the
from the
Lord.
material things.
Association, Mataji.
Association and guidance from any Siksha Guru or any friend who is a devotee.
Shraddha.
Association and
Mataji,
dृढ़ता, determination.
Association of Vaishnava Mataji, mainly. Vaishnava Sukruti. Or do we need to know that he is the one who is everything for us? Apart from him, there is no one. That time, maybe we don't need any other explanation. That time, I was thinking in my mind. If I know that he is the only one whom I can go to, I don't require anyone else. I will be constantly thinking about him. Radharani, as whatever we see about her, read about her, we always see that.
So what is your one-word answer?
Mercy of a bona fide spiritual master, Mataji.
Okay. And
How to put it in one word, I don't know what that is.
Shraddha, Mataji.
Shraddha.
Done.
Faith.
okay. No, don't think so technically. I mean, don't think like a devotee, okay? First and foremost thing, when you don't know anything about bhakti, What is something that brings you to bhakti? Forget
Curious.
all this technicality.
Ruchi. You need to have
Curiosity.
ruchi. Interest. Ruchi.
Interest. Very nice.
Curiosity and interest.
Curiosity, interest. Very
Curiosity.
good. So that's how we all start, right? We all start like that. Not that we know from day one, oh, pure devotee association I should take, then my bhakti was. It's not like that. Just think from a layman term, okay? When we started bhakti, we
Okay,
didn't
Mataji.
know about
Activity
bhava,
does.
prema, devotee association, shraddha. We didn't know any of these concepts, right? It is some sort of an attraction. That is the word Rupa Goswami uses. So in the beginning, he says, one doesn't need any jnana, vairagya, nothing. But there is one qualification for you to start bhakti, some attraction. Like you mentioned terminologies like curiosity or what is that? Rupal Mataji said something nice.
Ruchi.
Taste, some taste.
Interest.
When we say it's
Yeah.
a higher term, but some interest. That was the one of the words that they used. Interest, okay? So basically, Rupa Goswami uses the word attraction. There should be some attraction in serving Krishna. There is some interest, there is some attraction towards this process. So Prabhupada says, one may attain a little bit of attraction to Sri Krishna, but at the same time, he may remain very much attached to fruitive activities and material sense enjoyment. Okay, so attraction is the qualification we are telling. But all of us, when we started Krishna consciousness, we had little attraction, little interest, little curiosity, whatever, and we wanted to take up bhakti. But at that time, we were, and even now, we are still attached to many fruitive activities and sense enjoyment. Correct? So, when we are still attached to fruitive activities and sense enjoyment, do we have the qualification to start bhakti? Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So even if we have attraction to fruitive activities and material sense, actually, all of us start like that only. Even now we are in that entanglement, actually, that is the truth. Right? So even then you can start sadhana bhakti, you can start bhakti. And Rupa Goswami, he tells this quoting Uddhava from Uddhava Gita, Krishna from Uddhava Gita, where Krishna tells in the 11th canto, chapter 20, verse number 8, he says, my dear Uddhava, only by exceptional fortune does someone become attracted to me. And even if one is not completely detached from fruitive activities or he's not completely attached to devotional service, such service is quickly effective in his case. So basically the point Krishna is making is, in the beginning, you just have, by exceptional fortune, causeless. We said bhakti is causeless. We just said that. It is causeless. There is no hetu. That was one of the questions I asked. You said there is no cause. But if there is some basic qualification one must have some interest, okay, or some attraction. Now, by exceptional mercy, that person gets some attraction. But he is not fully detached and he has a lot of attraction to fruitive activities and so on. So even then, he has the qualification to start devotional service. And as he is performing this devotional service will take on an effect and it will purify you. So in other words, even if you are still attached to material life, you can begin practicing devotional service if you just have some attraction to it. Okay. Now the question comes, how do you develop this attraction? Okay. Yes, bhakti is causeless, but still for this attraction to come, something should have triggered that attraction. What triggered your attraction?
Devotee association.
Yes, correct. Devotee association. You saw a devotee or you saw Prabhupada's book. Okay. You saw Prabhupada's book. Curiosity. Somebody said curiosity. So how did that curiosity trigger? That curiosity triggered because someone said about Krishna, right? Someone said about Krishna. Someone said Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Someone said this Bhagavad Gita. This Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna and it is the absolute book for us. So it was triggered, that attraction was triggered by another devotee in some form. Okay. Sometimes when you see a devotee, you get attracted. By seeing some Param Vaishnava, we get attracted. We don't even care to think of what they are speaking. Just by seeing them, you get attracted. Such cases are also there. Others, maybe they are very intellectually oriented. Only if they read a book written by Prabhupada, his words, they get attracted. Whatever it is, the source of the trigger is actually devotional. Is a devotee, is a is a mercy of a devotee. So Prabhupada says, on account of his association with Mahatmas or great souls, 100% engaged in devotional service of the Lord, one may attain a little bit attraction to Krishna. So what is the prerequisite? Actually, there is no prerequisite. But if at all you have to think of a prerequisite, it is attraction. How do that attraction trigger in the heart? That attraction triggered in the heart because of pure devotee association. Now, I'm saying pure devotee. You may say, okay, somebody on the street who gave me a book is not a pure devotee. He could just be a practicing, a person who has just started his devotional life. Fair enough. But what really got you attracted? It was the words of Prabhupada, right? That was the thing that got you attracted. The words of Krishna and how Prabhupada has written about Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. That got you attracted. So the definition per se for you to get attracted and stay in the process of devotional service is through the medium of a pure devotee. See, you all can think of your own lives. Initially, you might have come to Krishna consciousness because of somebody. Okay, somebody just told you there is this satsang. Why don't you come and attend? Yeah, you heard from these devotees. You did bhajan with them. They told you to chant. You chanted. But maybe they are not pure devotees. It is still okay. But the medium of instruction that is coming through is from a pure devotee, correct? So they are repeating the words of Prabhupada. They're asking you to read a Bhagavad Gita as it is, or they direct you to a pure devotee. Hear the pure devotees chanting, and eventually you feel very inspired. Now, if you're feeling inspired to continue bhakti, then it is because of the effect of a pure devotee. Okay. Now, then, if that is the only prerequisite, attraction got triggered by a pure devotee, then what about Vairagya? Is it a prerequisite? Initially, when I asked this question, you all said no, right? It's not a prerequisite. Actually, for bhakti, it is not a prerequisite. In fact, Vairagya can even become an impediment to bhakti. Okay. Why? Because Vairagya means you have to get detached from material, from sense enjoyment. What is the purpose of renunciation, Vairagya? All that, Vairagya that you're trying to develop. All this Vairagya teaches you that you should stop enjoying your senses. You should not engage your senses in material activities. But then if you get too detached from these emotional and sensual activities, then you cannot do devotional service. Why? Because devotional service means engaging your senses in Krishna service. So if you're getting too detached, okay, from using your senses, which is probably a prerequisite for people who are trying to attain mukti. When they're trying to attain impersonal liberation, they want to get detached from everything in this material world. They want to detach from sense enjoyment and they want to go to impersonal Brahmajyoti. For them, it is okay. But for devotees, Vairagya is not at all recommended. It is not a prerequisite. Of course, some sort of Vairagya is needed. We will talk about it. But the Vairagya in its truest sense, where you're detaching your senses, that is not recommended here. It can become an impediment to bhakti. It will only result in more pride and you will not be able to do devotional service. So you should use active senses and emotions in Krishna's service. That is actually a prerequisite. Renunciation is not a prerequisite, but use of active senses in Krishna's service is a prerequisite. Okay. So Vairagya is useless for bhakti. Now, when we spoke about Vaidhi Bhakti in our previous class, I asked you what are the two varieties of Bhakti. You said Sadhana Bhakti has two varieties, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Now, all of us, we start with Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. That's how generally the pattern is. We all start with Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So if you're starting with Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, think about the definition of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti means following scriptural injunctions, correct? That is only Vaidhi Bhakti. Now, when Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, we are still talking about first stages of sadhana bhakti, right? First stages of devotion. We saw the trigger for devotion, the prerequisite for devotion. We saw vairagya is not needed. Now we are trying to see what this Shastra Shraddha is going to do to us. Because Vaidhi means you have to follow scriptural injunctions. Now, if I don't have faith in scriptural injunctions, I cannot even start bhakti, correct? So, faith in scriptural injunctions is extremely important when it comes to sadhana bhakti. It is extremely important. We said renunciation is not needed, jnana is not needed. Jnana means what? Jnana means the process of jnana yoga where you're trying to understand, yourself and God, and you're saying everything in this material world should be renounced, and you're trying to attain impersonal mukti. But knowledge, when we talk about knowledge, should we have faith in scriptures or not have faith in scriptures? If you don't have faith in scriptures, if you're not reading scriptures, you cannot do bhakti. That is very, very clear. There is a huge difference when people say, oh, jnana is not a prerequisite. They think reading scriptures is not a prerequisite. It is not like that. You have to have faith in scriptures. You should read scriptures. That is a basic thing in Krishna consciousness. If you don't have Shastriya Shraddha, your bhakti is only a sentiment. Prabhupada has told this multiple times. He says bhakti without knowledge of scriptures is only considered a sentiment. It will not last long. You will do it for 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, not more than that. You will lose faith if you don't have faith in scriptures. You will lose faith in Krishna if you don't have faith in scriptures. Because who's telling you about Krishna? Scriptures are telling you about Krishna. So you should have knowledge and faith in scriptures, and it is a major consideration for determining your eligibility to advance. If you do not have faith in scriptures, if you're not reading scriptures, advancement is going to be a problem. Okay, this has to be very clear. People say, oh, we don't have to read. I'm not a big jnani. No, it's not like that. You have to read. Okay, there are exceptional cases. You all will tell, oh, that person in Sri Rangam, he was reading upside down. Fine, he didn't know how to read, but he had faith in scripture. Right? He followed the words of his Guru Maharaj, which was there in scripture to the point. So he was advancing, and that was his eligibility to advance. But to shy away from Shastriya Shraddha will not take us too far. It will be pure sentiment only. Especially in Vaidhi Bhakti, we have to follow what scripture says. So a person, the depth of a person's faith and knowledge in scripture puts him into 3 categories. Now, as per Bhakti Rasamrit Sandhu is concerned, Rupa Goswami classifies Kanishtadhikari, Uttamadhikari, and Madhyamadhikari based on Shastriya Shraddha. It is so important for us. Okay? So, who is an Uttamadhikari? According to Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami says the candidate with the best qualification to practice pure devotional service has very strong faith and very strong scriptural knowledge. He is expert in the study of scriptures. He is an expert in putting forward arguments in terms of scriptures. Prabhupada says about his faith that he understands perfectly that the ultimate goal of life is to attain the transcendental devotional service of Krishna. And he knows Krishna is the only object of worship and love. Such a person is considered to have strong faith in scriptures. When I say strong faith in scriptures, what is it? You should have faith that Krishna is the only object of worship and love. He has firm faith in scriptures, and he knows what is the goal of the scriptures. Just having firm faith in some karma kanda section of the scripture doesn't talk up, is not Shastriya Shraddha. Shastriya Shraddha means you know what is there in scripture, you know the ultimate goal of scriptures is Krishna, and you must strive to attain that goal. You must strive to attain devotion to Krishna. So he has faith in scriptures, and he has sound understanding with reasons and arguments. You cannot shake his faith. Okay, it's impossible to shake the faith of an Uttamadhikari because he's so solid in what he has studied. And he understands Krishna is the goal. Such a person is an Uttamadhikari. Rupa Goswami says, who's a Madhyamadhikari? he says Madhyamadhikari is a person with medium qualification. He has medium qualification to practice pure devotional service. He has strong faith, but his scriptural knowledge is not so pakka. Okay, he has strong faith in the goal. He knows Krishna is everything, but he has, see, very clearly he has faith in the objective. This is my objective. Krishna consciousness. Bhakti is my objective. Krishna is my final goal. Love of Godhead is my goal. He's very, very clear about it. He knows the objective. He has full faith in it, but he may not be an expert in all the scriptures. If someone comes and challenges him, he might try his best to put forth an argument based on scriptures, but he might not be an expert in arguing on the strength of revealed scripture. Yet, he has very firm faith in objective. Such a person is called as Madhyama Adhikari. Who is a Kanishta Adhikari? Kanishta Adhikari is the person with the least qualification to perform devotional service. He has weak faith and weak scriptural knowledge, and he can be easily swayed away by superior arguments. Now, if a Kanishta Adhikari goes and sits, for example, I know this is a total random example I'm giving that's flashing in my mind. If a Kanishta Adhikari who doesn't have firm faith in the goal, who has not studied scriptures properly, or who has not heard properly about one's goal and what really is the philosophy, whatever. If he has not, for example, if he's just not heard from Prabhupada's books, let's keep it as simple as that. Such a person, if he goes and sits in, say, for example, there is a famous yogi who's coming and giving sessions, and he's going to teach you some yoga processes. Okay, like today's world, we have so many, this guru, that guru, Sadguru, all that you have. You have so many people who are very famous in terms of attracting masses. They have their own philosophy. We don't even know where the philosophy is coming from. Is it concocted? Is it their mental concoction? Or they could be pulling 3-4 concepts from scriptures and then adding their own twists and turns to it. But they could be speaking so amazing. Like anyone who sits in their class for half an hour, they're completely brainwashed, quote unquote. They feel very inspired and they think this is the goal of life. The goal of life is to control your breath, and that's it, finished. Okay. And I have to dedicate my life to this particular organization, and I leave family and I go and sit there in that organization saying I'm trying to attain peace. Okay. If a Kanishta Adhikari who doesn't understand what Prabhupada has given, okay, who doesn't have Shastriya Shraddha, who doesn't have firm faith in the goal, goes and sits in such a class. 3-day seminar, they call you. They call you for a 3-day seminar. You go sit. 2.5 days, this person speaks only some random philosophy. All nonsense. I mean, for us, it is nonsense. For them, it is amazing. Okay. For a person who doesn't have clear understanding, for him, it's amazing. Wow. They are all like spellbound. What a big jnani we are listening to. And he's swaying you away from the goal completely. And then he teaches a few breathing exercises and he says, that's it. Goal attained. This is all you have to do. They're completely brainwashed, right? Because they have not, they are easily swayed away by all this talk, all the fancy word jugglery, like Prabhupada says it, gymnastics and word jugglery. You get swayed away very easily by superior arguments, because he's putting forth all sorts of interesting arguments in front of you. He's very intellectual, because you're thinking, wow, so much intelligence. Who can beat his words? People take mic, they ask questions, and he gives answers, and there's a lot of claps. Great. But is it this the topmost philosophy? Think about it. You have the topmost philosophy given to you in Prabhupada's books. After reading Srila Prabhupada's books, any other philosophy is very, very, very low, because this is giving you the topmost goal. So the candidate with the least qualification to perform regulated devotional service has weak faith and weak scriptural knowledge, and therefore he can be swayed away by superior arguments. So this can happen to a Kanishta Adhikari. So these are the 3 classifications. Rupa Goswami says, Uttama Adhikari, his faith is very strong. He's very convinced. He can also convince others. His knowledge is very strong. He can defeat opposing opinions. Madhyama Adhikari, He's very strong, very convinced. His knowledge is good, but he can't always defeat the opposing opinion. Okay, not always, but he can try. Kanishtadhikari, very weak, easily swayed. When you say easily swayed, there is a big problem. Where is the problem coming from? Lack of scriptural exposure. That is where that swaying away comes from. And if that is there, we have to do some root cause analysis and try to open up books and start reading, or at least hear lectures. Okay. And his knowledge is very weak and he cannot offer arguments to an opposing opinion. So, Prabhupada says, unlike the second class devotee or the Madhyam Adhikari, a devotee who also cannot put forward arguments and evidence from the scripture but still has all faith in the objective, such a person is still fine. The neophyte has no firm faith in the objective. Therefore, he is called as a neophyte devotee. A Kanishtadhikari, why is he easily swayed? Think about it. Why is he easily swayed? 2.5 days seminar with that yogi or whoever he is, that guru. He goes, he sits, and his opinions are all mixed up. Why is it mixed up? Why is he swaying away? Because he doesn't have firm faith in the objective. Why did he not have firm faith in the objective? He did not have firm faith in objective because he did not read Prabhupada's book. Simple. Right? So faith in the objective, what does that mean? Faith in the objective means conviction that the goal of life is to please Krishna and abandon all other desires. If one accepts this, even without strong conviction and knowledge, he is a candidate for Uttama Bhakti. So now Rupa Goswami is telling us to start devotional service. You don't need all this. To start devotional service, you just need some attraction. That attraction is triggered by the association of a devotee. Great. You get started. Now, when you get started, how do you progress? What should you do for progress? For progress, you should have firm faith in the goal. How do you get firm faith in the goal to progress? You have to read books. You have to learn what is there in scripture. If you're not learning what is there in scripture, and if you're only sentimentally trying to follow something, your goal is not fixed, you don't know what your goal is, you can get easily swayed away. At least try to be a Madhyam Adhikari with strong faith in the goal. You may not be a scriptural expert, that is perfectly fine, but be fixed on the goal. That's why when you read Srila Prabhupada's books, from the very first purport till the last purport, whichever verse it is, he will go on telling you that bhakti is the only way. He say Krishna is the only goal, bhakti is the only way. You open Bhagavatam, you open Bhagavad Gita, you open Nectar of Devotion, you open any book of Srila Prabhupada. Why does Prabhupada say the same thing from beginning to end? He says that so that you're fixed on the goal. It is extremely important to be fixed on the goal if you want to advance in devotional service. Okay, so faith and objective means conviction that the goal of life is to please Krishna and abandon other desires. Now, see, initially when he came, he did have other desires. He had many other desires. But now he knows that the goal is I should have firm faith in Krishna and I should give up these desires. When he came, he had desires. But as he advances, slowly these desires have to vanish. Okay. So even if you don't have too much scriptural knowledge, if your goal is straight, if you have just read one purport of Prabhupada, that's enough actually. And if you're convinced with it, then you are a candidate for Uttama Bhakti. Okay. So this is the difference between Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttamadhikari. Uttamadhikari is fixed on the goal. Madhyama is also fixed. He may not be able to convince you with all the arguments, but still he has firm faith in objective. Now, okay, great. I know that my initial qualification is attraction. I need devotee association. To advance, I should read Prabhupada's books. Okay, I've come this far. Great. Okay. Now, Bhagavad Gita, remember, it spoke about 4 kinds of people who come to Krishna consciousness. 4 kinds of pious people. Artho, Jignasu, Artharti, Jnani cha Bharatarshava. That verse you all know. Chaturvida bhajante mam, janaha sukritino arjuna. Artho, Jignasu, Artharti, Jnani cha Bharata. Something like that. Yeah, okay. So now 4 people are there. Who are these 4? Bhartarshva, okay. Now 4 of them are there. Who are these 4? The first one is Artharthi. Okay, Artharthi means one who's desire of wealth. For example, we saw Dhruva Maharaj. Arti means what? One who's distressed. For example, Gajendra. Then we saw Jignasu. Who are the Jignasu? The sages of Naimisharanya. They are definitely exalted souls, but they were just curious. They came out of Jignasu, out of curiosity. And the 4th one is the Jnani. Jnani, is the self-realized soul. Okay, now in these 4 kinds of people, when they started off, did they start with attraction to Krishna? No, right? Did they start with attraction to Krishna from
No.
No, correct. So then, how come Krishna is calling them pious people? How did they turn out to become devotees? They didn't start with attraction. When Rupa Goswami said your first step is you should have some attraction. The 4 of them didn't have any attraction. They started off somewhere, right? They did not understand that the goal of life is to please Krishna. They didn't have attraction to Krishna. They just came for their own pleasures. That's all. But then what is this? When you see these 4 examples, the natural question is, how did they come to Krishna consciousness? Maybe it is piety. So some sort of a piety from past birth, is that the reason why they came to Krishna consciousness? What do you think could be the reason?
Piety only, Mataji.
Piety, what kind of? Okay, what kind of piety?
Bhakti Poshak Sukruti, Mataji.
Very nice. Bhakti Unmukh Sukruti. Yes, very nice. Sukruti only, but like Parima Mataji was telling, it's Bhakti Unmukh Sukruti. So they did some Sukriti towards Bhakti. Just doing ordinary Sukriti is not enough. Just ordinary piety is not a prerequisite to have faith in Bhakti. But if it is Bhakti Unmukh, meaning, for example, the 4 of them, somehow or the other, they have had some Bhakti-related Sukriti. Rupa Goswami also gives this example of that pigeon that was shot down. By chance, before dying, the pigeon fell down in a mandir and paid obeisances. That was considered Bhakti Unmukh Sukriti, and the pigeon gets a human birth the next life to start devotional service. Another example is that of the mouse. You all know that example. The mouse went to drink some ghee in a temple, and it just caught fire, and it did a mini arati before dying with that, because it was jumping around. It did a mini arati and it collapsed. So that became Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti. Now, if there is Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti, then such a person can take up to devotional service. And the classic example is the 4 of them, who are the Dhruva Maharaj, the Gajendra, Shejish of Naimisharanya, and maybe Shukdev Goswami, or the 4 Kumaras. Okay, they all had Bhakti Unmukh Sukriti, and therefore they were able to take up to devotional service. Now, Prabhupada says that maybe they are not right away in the platform of Uttam Bhakti. Okay, these 4 types of pious men, they might not be qualified to practice Uttama Bhakti, but still they are meritorious. They have approached Krishna somehow or the other because of Unmukha Sukriti that they had. So Prabhupada says these 4 types of devotees who have been described in Bhagavad Gita, they are accepted as pious. Because without the piety, Unmukha Sukriti, no one can come to devotional service. Without pious activities, if a man is in a distressed condition, he can become agnostic, a communist or something like that. But because he does not firmly believe in God, he can become an atheist also. But because he has some Unmukha Sukriti, something, something favorable, he was able to take up devotional service. Now, bhakti, however, is causeless and independent. It cannot be a result of ritualistic pious activities. So the piety mentioned here certainly means previous devotional activity or bhakti unmukh sukriti, which is done knowingly or unknowingly. In the case of the pigeon and the rat, it was not done knowingly, it was unknowingly done. Maybe you did it knowingly. Maybe knowingly you gave a donation to a temple and that became your Udmukh Sukruti. Okay. Knowingly you could have done, unknowingly you could have done. Unknowingly, maybe you just helped some Mahabhagavat cross the road. I don't know, I'm just saying something. So unknowingly or knowingly, if you have done some devotional activity, it is not direct devotional activity, but somewhat in the garb of a devotional activity, that can awaken this initial attraction to God, and then you can take proper devotee association, and then you can become a great devotee by following the rest of the processes of sadhana bhakti. Okay, so we saw a perfect example is that of the Kumaras. Rupa Goswami also mentions the case of the Kumaras. The Kumaras, they just smelled the tulasi. By accident, it was just an accident. Accidentally, they smelled the tulasi on the feet of the Lord. By Tulasi Devi's association, they could later become devotees. Okay, so such things can happen, and a person can develop that attraction, because the attraction is the first thing. You develop the attraction, and then to progress, you take up Shastriya Shraddha and you start practicing. But again, Vairagya is not a prerequisite. Okay, so again, he comes back to this point of wisdom, renunciation, and pure devotional service. So Rupa Goswami explains to us, in the beginning of practice of devotional service, the only qualification is attraction for it. But for pure devotional service, what should happen? Yes, to advance in devotional service, you should read scriptures, you should have faith in the goal. But to come to the point of Uttama Bhakti, what should you do? First, we said renunciation is not needed. We said renunciation is not needed, or Vairagya is not needed. But now, to come to the stage of pure devotional service, to advance, you have to become renounced. What do we mean by to become renounced? We have to become free from all desires except the desire to please Krishna. Except the desire to please Krishna, all other desires should take a backseat as we advance. So, a person who's free from the bodily concept of life is more eligible to take up to the process of pure devotional service. Shuddha Bhakti, we have not yet gone there. But to come to the platform of Shuddha Bhakti, you see, there's a gradual transition. Initially, they said nothing is needed. Then slowly they started adding one thing after the other, just like how we all came to Krishna consciousness. When we came to Krishna consciousness, we were told, hey, you don't have to do anything. Just try chanting one round of Mahamantra. You can try giving up a few habits here and there. That's more than enough. That's it. Bhakti is so easy. And then slowly they start telling you, why do you stop with one round? Do 4 rounds. Then they tell you 8 rounds, then 16 rounds. And then they tell you, oh, you have to give up onion and garlic. Oh, you have to give up this. You have to give up that. So it goes on adding. Why do they do that? Initially, they want to strengthen your attraction. I want this bhakti. I want this goal. And then slowly, for you to progress, you don't want to get stuck there, right? Nobody wants to get stuck in the initial processes of devotion. You want to improve. You want to go to the platform of pure devotional service. So to go to the platform of pure devotional service, what do you have to do? You have to do more. So initially renunciation was not needed. Initially Vairagya was not needed. In fact, we were telling Vairagya as an impediment because you have to engage your senses. Now they are telling you what really is true renunciation is. True renunciation means forgetting all the bodily concept of life, engagement in bodily concept of life, and engaging, your only interest is the desire to please Krishna. The rest of your material desires should take a backseat. This is how you can come to the platform of pure devotional service. So that's why when Krishna spoke about the 4 people, Artho, Jignasu, Artharthi, Jnani, he said the Jnani is the best of the 4. Remember the next verse he says, among the 4, the Jnani is the best, he says. Why does he say that? Why does he say Jnani is the best of the 4? Anyone remembers?
Yes, Bahunam Janmanamante, Gnanavan Mam Prapadyante.
Okay.
Yeah.
But why is the Jnani the best? Why is he the best among the 4?
Vasudeva Sarvamiti. He understands that Vasudeva, Sri Krishna, is everything. He is a supreme.
No, but that comes at a later stage now. So the immediate next verse.
Because I think after many janmas, he accumulates the sukruti and he slowly progresses. That's my understanding.
That's true. That all comes later. I mean, at an advanced stage. But when you talk about the four Artho Jignasu Arthati Jnani, immediately Prabhupada says the Jnani is the best. Not Prabhupada, Krishna says. Among the four, Jnani I choose to be the best. Why?
Does not expect anything from Krishna.
Why? What is happening to him?
He's in knowledge.
Yes,
He's in
knowledge.
knowledge. Knowledge means what?
Temporary and entanglement.
He's out of the entanglement of attachment to other things. Right? He's not desiring anything. He doesn't want money or he doesn't want anything in return. He's already detached from all this. So it is easy for him. He doesn't have to work for material detachment. It is easy for him to get attached to Krishna. Because just now Krishna said, you have to become renounced. I mean, not Krishna, sorry, Rupa Goswami said, to come to the platform of pure bhakti, you should have some renunciation. What is the renunciation he's telling? All your attraction to the material things should go away and your only attraction should be towards Krishna. Now, when Krishna says the four kinds of Sukritina, they are coming to me. He says the Jnani is the easiest, easy work on him. Why? Why is easy maintenance? Because already all this other attachment problems are over for him. So it is easy for him to focus completely on Krishna. Okay, so from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada also confirms that liberation from bodily concept is essential for advancing in devotional service. And after Brahman realization, when one is freed from material anxieties, that is when he sees every living entity on an equal level. Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotee, means he is on a very high platform. Okay, he's saying everything as equal. So for such a person, all these material attractions should completely cease. Therefore, for a jnani, it is easy. That is the understanding. Okay, so we started off from initial attraction, something basic attraction. We said it's okay, you can have your material attractions, you don't have to worry too much, it's not a prerequisite. You can still maintain your desires for enjoyment and still have Krishna. Just one plus, just add Krishna in your life. That's all. Bhakti is very easy. We started like that. But then gradually there is an increase in the standards. If you want to advance, slowly, one by one, everything starts coming. Now, the next point that Rupa Goswami discusses is that he talks about liberation. He says, we just spoke that a person should get detached from his senses, sense enjoyment, and his only focus should be on pleasing Krishna. That is a person who can come to the point of Shuddha Bhakti. Then the question may be raised, is liberation something that he should desire for? Should he desire for liberation? When you say he should become free from material entanglements and material sense gratification, that means should his focus be liberation? Is that needed at this point in time? Rupa Goswami says, actually, he should not strive for liberation. He should get detached from sense enjoyment. He should focus fully on Krishna. He should do everything for Krishna's pleasure. Engage his senses in Krishna consciousness. Always 24/7 think of Krishna, like Prabhupada. See, Prabhupada didn't do anything for his sense gratification. Whatever he did it for Krishna's pleasure. Okay? So that is the stage you want to come to. But when you're coming to that stage, should you strive for liberation? I want to get liberated from this material entanglement. I want mukti. Should you strive for it? He says, no, you don't have to strive for it, because this liberation, mukti, is an automatic byproduct of devotional service. You don't have to separately endeavor for it. You don't have to endeavor for liberation. It is a byproduct. When you get bhakti, when you get pure devotional service, automatically mukti is attained. Why should you endeavor for it separately? And he also warns us that when you do pure bhakti, what was the Shuddha Bhakti definition that we saw in the beginning? In the beginning of the class, we revised. In the introduction to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, pure devotional service is
Anyabhilashita.
Anyabhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. Right? Bhukti and mukti should not be in the equation. That is the definition of pure devotional service. So Rupa Goswami, he makes it very clear that a pure devotee should be free from desire for liberation, which is mukti, and sense gratification, which is bhakti. And these are compared to ghosts and witches. Material desire to enjoy this material world, bhukti, and desire to become liberated, mukti, are considered like ghosts and witches that haunt us. So when these witches remain within the heart, how will you feel transcendental bliss? Imagine when there is a ghost or thing in you, how will you feel happiness? How will you feel bliss? It is not possible. These two are like ghosts. They will divert you from Krishna consciousness. When these two witches are in the heart, there is no possibility of enjoying the bliss of devotional service. Just like how a haunted person is not free to act like he wants. He's forced to fulfill the desires of the ghost who's possessing him. Similarly, if you are haunted by desires for bhakti or mukti, you cannot perform bhakti. Instead, you will be impelled by that ghost of bhakti and mukti to facilitate the needs of bhakti and mukti. And you will end up spending all your energy in pursuit of sense gratification and liberation. You will not worry about the bhakti. So this desire for mukti is actually more severe than the desire for bhakti. All of us have desire for bhakti, sense enjoyment. All of us have that. We are not on the platform of pure devotion. So many of us, at least, I can say for myself, I talk about others. Me, I don't have pure devotional service. But between the two witches that is haunting me today, between mukti and bhakti, Rupa Goswami says bhakti is any day better. Because somehow or the other, by Krishna's mercy and by the practice of bhakti, through devotee association, you can get rid of this bhakti, sense and gratification. You can engage your senses in Krishna's service, purify your senses, and so on. So you can become detached from bhakti. But this mukti is there, right? If you have that desire, it is a terrible, terrible witch. Why? Because mukti aims at getting detached not only from your desires in this material world, but it also makes you get detached from the name, form, qualities, and activities of the Supreme Lord. Because you have so much aversion to all sorts of variegatedness in this material world, you want the same thing in the spiritual realm also. That's why you're desiring for impersonal liberation, because you think in this material world, there is so much variety. I want to get rid of all variety and I just want to exist. I just want to be in Brahman. I just want to exist. So that is a big impediment in devotional service, because bhakti means it's all about variety. Krishna consciousness is all about variety. Going to spiritual world means variety, service. But mukti, it is like getting aversion to everything in this material world and wanting to be in a suspended state. That is mukti. So Rupa Goswami says, among the two witches, mukti, very severe witch, don't even try. That's why our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he warned, Mayavadya Shunya, Mayavadya Bhasha Shun, Mayavada Bhasha Sunile, Hoi Sarvanash. Everything is destroyed. Innocently you may think, this person, he's speaking Krishna Bhakti. He's talking about chanting the holy names. He's telling Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. He's also giving the same mantra. He's also talking about Krishna and his pastimes. Krishna, such a sweet little boy. He's stealing butter. He's also telling the same thing. Why I can't hear to him? Just because he's a Mayavadi, you're not allowing me to associate with him, telling that he's Mayavadi. Don't listen to him. In what way is he Mayavadi? He's doing Harikatha. I will go listen. When he is doing Harikatha, in between he'll insert that this Krishna is nothing but the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Go to the Brahma Jyoti. And it might be very attractive and we might desire, it's okay, listen to anybody, any philosophy is fine, it doesn't matter about my ultimate goal, I will go wherever I want, and we'll get diverted from the whole thing. So Rupa Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they warn us, don't even look that side. It is a terrible witch. Once it possesses you, mukti is like a tigress, they say. When a tigress comes, you can't resist it. It will just pounce on you and finish you. That's it. It's a tigress. And you're thinking it is a small meow cat, like a small domestic cat. No, it's very serious. Don't even go that side. Just because they have Gopi Chandan, they chant a few Mahamantras, don't go. Don't get diverted. You have to stick only to Vaishnava Siddhanta. Otherwise, we are gone for life. It's the worst thing. Even bhakti, even material enjoyment is not so bad. That's what Rupa Goswami is warning. Rupa Goswami quotes Bhagavad Gita to establish that those who approach the Lord with ulterior motive lack the minimum qualification for Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. If you're going to Krishna with an ulterior motive, okay, next point, Rupa Goswami tells, he says, if you're going to Krishna with an ulterior motive, like I want to, this is so common actually even among devotees. We say initially you can come with anything. If you have some unmukha sukriti, you'll come to bhakti. But then if you're sticking to the process of bhakti just for the sake of an ulterior motive, and you're lacking the minimum qualification, that is faith in the ultimate goal, and you're sticking to the so-called bhakti process with some ulterior motive, Rupa Goswami says that you cannot make any sort of progress. With this ulterior motive, whether it is bhakti or mukti, it will make you ineligible to practice pure devotional service. Even after coming to Krishna consciousness, if we always are after a hidden agenda, some ulterior motive, I'm doing bhakti so that I can get XYZ. Actually, we devotees, we have that in our heart a lot. It is not at all good. Rupa Goswami is warning us, if you have ulterior motives trying to fulfill through the practice of bhakti, I will chant 16 rounds and so that I can get some material benefit. I can get some whatever it may be. I'll chant this, I'll get this. I will do this, I will attend this Shravanotsavam, and through that I will get this. If we are continuing to have some material motives, or if we are continuing to have motives of mukti, I want liberation from distress, so I will go and I will listen. Do fine, but don't get stuck there. If you are stuck there even after being in Krishna consciousness for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, what is the use? We will never come to the platform of pure devotional service. So don't get stuck there. Initially, you might have come anyhow. Some of us could have come just for prasadam. Some of us could have come just to hear some fancy talk, whatever it is. But don't get stuck there. Don't think that the ulterior motive is the focus of Krishna consciousness. I will chant 16 rounds so that I can have a good house. I will chant 16 rounds so that I can stay in the US. It doesn't work like that. So Rupa Goswami says, if we are stuck there, whether it is bhakti or mukti, whatever other interest you have, you will never be able to practice pure devotional service. So the conclusion of this section, this third chapter that we have seen, first point, the one and only qualification to begin devotional service, again, not come to the platform of pure devotional service. We are saying beginning. The first qualification to begin devotional service is what? To have some interest, some attraction, which is triggered by the mercy of a devotee. That will enthuse you to have attraction to the Supreme Lord. That is the beginning. The second qualification to advance in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, to advance, again, this is not starting, to advance, what should you do? Especially all of us are doing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Nobody, honestly, people talk very high philosophy. People say, oh, I'm doing Raganuga bhakti. Yes, you should strive for Raganuga. There is no doubts about it. But 99.9% of the time, we are in the stage of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Raganuga bhakti blossoms later. Okay, so just claiming that this is Raganuga bhakti, that is Raganuga bhakti is useless. It will come. But we are all talking about Vaidhi sadhana bhakti only. The qualification to advance in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti depends on the maturity of one's knowledge of the scriptures and faith in scriptures. We should be matured in Shastra. It is important. When I say matured, it's not that how many books I have read, how many verses I can quote, how many classes I can give. That is not maturity. Maturity is in what we have grasped from scriptures. How much faith on the final goal we have. How much we accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How much we accept our surrender to Krishna. Somebody said surrender as a prerequisite some time back. All this is required for advancement. So the first thing is initial qualification is attraction triggered by mercy of devotee or devotee association. Second, qualification to advance in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. All of us are doing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, okay? We aspire for Raganuga, but at this point in time, are you really doing Raganuga? I don't know. I don't know what it is. But for me, I am still in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti only. And the qualification to advance in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is Shastriya Shraddha. It should be there. Final goal should be very clear. Faith in scripture should be there. This is nonsense to say, I will just keep hearing lectures, some random person's lectures. I will not study Prabhupada's books. That's the stupidest thing one person can do. It has become a disease again in our society, where we are not giving focus to Prabhupada's words and we have focus on any XYZ's lectures. Yes, we should listen to lectures. Those lectures should strengthen our faith in books, in what Prabhupada has written. He is our Acharya. And we just blindly repeat whatever the other person is telling. That other person is not even quoting from scriptures. And we just take it for granted. Oh, he's such a famous speaker. He said it, so I will go and repeat it anywhere and everywhere. And you're making a laughing stock of yourself. It's become so common these days. If a famous speaker is saying something, go and check the books if it's there. If it is there, then you repeat. Don't just blindly repeat. Taking notes from some XYZ's lecture and repeating it blindly. No reference, nothing. It's all waste of our time, actually. Anyway, so when we talk about maturity, this is what the word used is maturity in knowledge. We should have some maturity, not blindly repeat somebody. If he is a great personality, if he is on the level of our Guru Maharaj, if he is a pure devotee of the Lord, if he's at a different level, that is different. He's coming from a samadhi, that is fine. But just some random person comes and says something, we take lecture notes and then we go and repeat it in 100 places. It becomes that rumor of what we are talking, it becomes the fundamental understanding of Krishna consciousness 2-3 years later. So many pastimes of the Lord are messed up like that. Okay, I'm just getting away, diverted. Leave it. Number 3. So second is advancement. For advancement, maturity in knowledge. Third, the qualification for practicing pure devotional service is liberation from bodily concept of life. That is, Vairagya should come. Maybe in the initial stages it is not there. But if we want to practice Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, then we should get liberated from bodily concept of life. And that is characterized by realization that one should abandon all desires, especially Bhukti and Mukti, of which Mukti is a real culprit. One should abandon desires for Mukti and just please Krishna alone. Okay? So a devotee should strongly reject Bhukti and Mukti. And Prabhupada has quoted a verse that says, "My dear son of Nanda, I do not want any material happiness in the shape of many followers or immense opulence and wealth, nor do I want cessation from material existence. I may take birth many times, one after the other, but what I pray from you is that my devotion to you will always remain unflinching." This is a verse from, anybody is hearing what I'm saying?
Na dhanam, na janam, na sundaram.
Sikshashtaka, yes, very nice. So this is a pure devotee. This is a pure devotee's disinterest in liberation. He doesn't want anything else other than Krishna. Na dhanam, na janam. I don't want bhukti, I don't want mukti. Like that. Prabhupada also in this chapter, he has given us a compilation of many, many verses from Bhagavatam that condemns the desire for liberation and only desires devotional service to the Lord. This entire chapter, if you open Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada's summary, he has put through many examples, many verses from various corners of Bhagavatam and other places that tells that liberation is not our goal. We do not desire liberation. Okay? Liberation meaning mukti. Again, then people will ask, oh, that means you don't want to go home back to Godhead? Yes, I want to go. But when we say mukti here, it means impersonal liberation. Okay? So in this chapter, what we saw is qualifications to practice bhakti. And in the next chapter, we will see how devotional service is beyond all sorts of liberations, including personal liberation, actually. Because when we say devotional service, great devotees, they prayed. Wherever they are, they may be able to execute bhakti. That's what they have prayed. when we say liberation means it's not going to a destination, it is a state of consciousness. Okay. So that we will see in chapter number 4. So we'll stop here. And I'm extremely sorry. I don't know why I got so carried away. I was speaking very emotionally about some things. Sorry about it. It was quite
Such
heavy.
a good Mataji.
Sorry.
I like it.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
very
it was wonderful, Mataji. Yeah, we loved your flow.
Okay, any questions, thoughts, comments?
Mataji, one quick question. So Raga Bhakti, you are saying that 99.9% we are doing what kind of bhakti? I forgot the name.
We are all doing Vaidhi Bhakti.
Vedi. What does Vedi means? Vedi means
Rules and regulations, na?
rules and following the rules and regulations.
According to the scriptures, rules and regulations according to scripture. Raganuga Bhakti is raga based. It is more on emotion, and it is again for that you need you need to practice Raganuga Bhakti with the permission of your guru, and your guru will guide you. It may not be as per the Vaidhi Bhakti that we are doing now. Okay.
And it calls for what was the term you used? Tyag or detachment. Raganurag calls for detachment.
All that will come later, whether Raga or Vaidhi, it will all come. Detachment or renunciation will come. Just give me 1 second. It's an important.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm back. Go ahead, Mataji.
Yes, Madhu. Yeah, that's what I was asking. That the main factor for raga to enter the Raganurag segment is maybe the foundation is detachment. That was my question.
Yes, to advance. Again, not for Raga, but to advance, to come to the point of Prema Bhakti and Bhava Bhakti. Eventually, it's a gradual process. Yes, you have to detach from material sense enjoyment and engage your senses in Krishna consciousness. So this maturity of getting detached from sense gratification will come with a period of time. But it is important to advance. To come to Shuddha Bhakti, it is important. That is the point. Okay?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Dandavat Pranams Mataji. Thank you for this very wonderful class. Mataji, I have 2 quick questions. First is like you said that, it is said that in Bhakti, in Raganuga or Vaidhi Sadhana also, we should not be maintaining material attachments eventually, right? But it is also the one of the 10 offenses, right? To maintain material offenses while chanting.
Of course, yeah.
So in a way, at least I cannot say that I am completely detached. I have no attachment for my children or my husband or my home or anything. So, and I'm still chanting. So is it that we are, or most of us are actually committing this offense?
No, when the 10 offenses to the holy names come, at that time, on the strength of chanting the holy names, don't maintain attachments, saying, yeah, you're right, Mataji. It is, I know it's a
very catchy question. I always wondered about this and I thought, let me ask.
Yeah. Suksagri Mataji asks, do you have to cross Anartha Nivritti to come to Raganuga stage? Anartha Nivritti, yes, I vaguely remember this, but I think in the previous chapter this was covered.
It is covered in Madhurya Kadambini, right, Mataji? We had done that.
Also, we had done that in Madhurya Kadambini. You're right. And in the previous chapter also, I think Mataji covered this, right? Yeah.
Mataji, also one more thing, that while doing this Vaidhi sadhana or whatever sadhana that we are doing daily, we do develop some emotion and attraction for Krishna, his activities, reading his pastimes, or reading the scriptures. So what is that? Is that a kind of a sign or a beginning of Raganuga? Just asking.
Oh yeah, of course, it is a sign of beginning of Raganuga, of course. How do you develop Raganuga Bhakti? They say you go and ask your guru, he will tell you. But one of the key aspects of following Raganuga Bhakti or developing Raganuga Bhakti is to meditate on the pastimes of Krishna by reading the pastimes from Bhagavatam. It is very important. One should read the pastimes from Bhagavatam and meditate on that and make it your lifestyle. That is when you can start practicing Raga Bhakti. Even for Raga Bhakti, scripture is the source,
Okay.
not just a sentiment. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful class. I always love your classes, and I'm really indebted to you for giving out such pure nectarian knowledge. So thank you so much, Mataji. Done with pranams to you. Hare Krishna.
That's Mataji. Honestly, I was reading from Waves of Devotion. I didn't even share screen today.
Doesn't
Because
matter, but your class is always wonderful, Mataji. You explain very, very well. Koti koti dandavat pranams to you. Thank you so much.
thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Mataji, Koti Pranam. How do you know how to choose? How do you know how to choose a guru? There's one question, and the second one is like mamta, the mom's love for the children. That is
Say that
not
again.
the normal.
One second, Mataji, your voice is getting
Sorry, I'm
muffled.
speaking from UK, so the reception might be a bit. Asking how to choose a guru for the first
How
one.
to
How do
choose
you
a
know who's the
guru?
correct? Yeah.
How to choose a guru? Is that your question?
Yeah. Yeah. And the second one was the other matter you mentioned about the children and attachment. Isn't that allowed because that's mamta? That's your motherhood. Is it allowed? Like Krishna still was attached to his mom. Two questions. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, the first question is how to choose a guru. How do you choose a guru? The Paramatma will help you. You have to hear. Vani is important. We hear and personal association is also great. But how do you choose a guru? Again, this is directly from Jiva Goswami's words. When you hear from a particular guru, when it resonates with you, it affects your heart, that person is your guru. So the principle to choose a guru is first you must hear different people. First of all, once you're clear about the sampradaya, like for example, if you have chosen that I want to follow Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, this is my goal, Krishna is my goal, and now I'm searching for a proper guru in this field or in this society, whatever, in ISKCON, then you have to hear from as many people as possible, and there'll be one person when he speaks, it resonates with your heart. It can also happen in personal association. I'm not saying Vani is the only way. Even in Vapu, it can happen. You see him, he resonates with you, and there's a change of heart. You feel like this is what I was looking for. That Paramatma will instigate, and that person is the guru. And please, I know I'm putting forth a personal opinion also, but still, people tend to say that your mentor's guru is your guru, your Siksha guru's guru is your guru. All that is nonsense. It is not like that. You have to find your guru. Okay. That is what Jiva Goswami is telling. Again, I'm saying it's my opinion, but it's really not my opinion. It is based on his words. Okay.
Yeah, I thought the guru chooses you.
Huh?
My previous experience, the guru chooses you.
Oh, yes, the guru chooses you, and hence you choose the guru.
Thank you, Mataji. I'm very new to ISKCON, so on the enchanting stage. So I'm trying to learn more and more.
That's wonderful.
And the more I know, the more
Just keep
interested.
hearing, somebody will resonate with you. Yeah, and that
Thank
person
you,
is Krishna will.
What about the attachment for the children?
Yeah. From through Krishna you get Guru, through Guru you get Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Thank you.
And one more thing you asked, no? What a child attachment.
Attachment of mother and child, yeah.
It's the most purest form of attachment in this material world. In this material world also, it's the purest form of attachment. And the recommendation, it's a very pure love that you share a bond with the child. It's very, very pure love. And that love is all as good as Prabhupada says, it is the closest you can see in the material world, that is closest to what is seen in the spiritual world, the purity of love. Material world doesn't have pure love. Everything is lust. But the closest you can say, which is love, is the love between mother and child, especially when the child is young. Okay. Yeah, when the child is dependent on you, when the child is young, especially, not like 40-year-old child. We are talking about something different.
When Krishna was older, still attached to his mum.
No, so there's a difference in this. Yeah, spiritual love. Spiritual love is very different, Mataji. In the material love, 90% it's lust. It's about pleasing oneself, actually, even that relationship. Yeah, but in the spiritual world, it is about pleasing Krishna. So the Vatsalya Rasa scene there is very different from what it is here. But here also, if you try to find something that is the purest bond, it is the relationship between mother and child. And how do you remove the attachment, if that is your question? I mean, if your question is, I want to work on that attachment factor, how do you work on the attachment factor? Yeah, focus on Krishna. That is the only solution.
Yeah, because Krishna is in everyone's house. Sorry.
Yeah, but don't lose affection. So there's a difference between affection and attachment. Affection should be there for everyone, but attachment, we can work on it by focusing on Krishna. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It really helped me, Mataji. Very cool.
Very well, very well. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Sunil
Prabhuji. Yeah, he has been raising his hand from long.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. Actually, so heavy class for me. It's for me only, I believe. I will start reading Prabhupada books. That's my takeaway. And Mataji, my question is, like, when I hear about the pure devotional service, like Bhakti Siddhi, I should have none of this. It's very difficult, Mataji. I usually get disappointed and discouraged. So how should I tackle that? Because I'm not on that level. And Mukti doesn't mean just Sahuja, Samipya, all. And even I want to be happy. That is Mukti. I don't want to get into accident. That is also Mukti. Like Bhakti, Mukti, they have so many deep. I heard all this.
How do we work on it? We are all trying our best, Prabhu. We know none of us are in pure devotional service yet. But as our attachment to Krishna increases, as our practices of bhakti increase, slowly our attraction to other things will decrease. It is a gradual process. It can be enhanced in the association of devotees. It can be enhanced by continuous shravanam. Through reading and hearing. And of course, we have to do our rounds. Harinam also is very, very powerful. So all these, it's a combination of all these process over a period of time. By Krishna's mercy, it will happen, Prabhu. We just have to wait and watch. It will happen though. Yeah. How do I do it? Continue to take devotee association, continue to hear from Prabhupada or read Prabhupada's books. Hear from your spiritual master. It will awaken someday, that thing to get rid of bhakti mukti. Even I also have desires for bhakti mukti. Everybody has desires at this point in time. But it is about how you gradually shift your focus. It will happen. It just happen. You just have to maintain the tempo by taking association of devotees and continuously hearing. Okay.
Yes, Mataji. And Mataji, what about the book reading? Like, for me, book reading is very difficult, Mataji, to do alone, actually.
What is it?
Book reading. Reading
book
Prabhupada books.
reading, do here, no, here, I mean, what I do, even I'm like that. I can't sit in one place. I'm very restless. So I like to hear and do something, for which you have audiobooks available. Prabhupada's books are all there in audio. So many audiobooks are available in YouTube. Just keep hearing. Try to hear Bhagavatam 10, 15 times from beginning to end, from verse 1 to last. Go on hearing, go on hearing, go on hearing. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Do it like a sadhana, like a loop. Like just keep, put it on, let it keep going on and on and on and on the entire day. Try to do that. It will help a lot. You will hear it at least multiple times if you cannot sit and read. Audiobooks are available.
Yes, I was doing that only. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Yeah, very well. Praladananda Prabhu, please, Prabhu.
Dhanat Pranam Mataji. Haribol. Am I audible, Mata?
Yes, Mataji, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata. I just have little reflections of you have been saying like that, especially about the motherhood, you know. And Rushabdev Maharaj says, Janani Sasyat, right? So you see, most important person in my life is my own mother. All right, my mother taught me so many things, and she instilled some bhakti on me too, also like that. So we have these material bondages and material affections are like that. But when we convert these attachments centered around Lord Sri Krishna, that's where it becomes spiritualized. That's what I feel like that. So that's number one. Number two, about the advancement. I've been initiated from 1984. But the advancement, the yards by which you can kind of, find out whether you are advancing it or not, is Srila Prabhupada many a times quotes Chanakya Pandit. The first thing he puts is Matruvat Pardaresu. All right. So every male devotee, I would put that separately for the mothers like that. But every male should see how far he is seeing mother in another woman. All right. That's the yardstick I have kept in my heart. And I say, how much I practiced gynecology also many years in my life. But where did I see the woman as my mother? All right. I've delivered so many babies also like that. So the thing is that how far your heart is being purified, that you only can judge. All right. Maybe Guru Maharaj can also help you in that. But this is one yardstick by which you can see whether I'm advancing or not. That's number one. Number two, he says, Lostravat Padharesu. Others' money. We are all after money and material, these things. But how far you are able to see that, oh, this is not my money, why? So this is number two. And the third is Atmavat Sarvabhutesu. If I insult someone, if I, do hurt other people, how would I feel when they do to me like that? So if these three yardsticks we put in our life, doing practical bhakti and see where you stand, and from there we can improve and see that, no, this is wrong. These thoughts should not come to my mind. Let me take shelter of Chaitanya Prabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, Bhagavan Krishna, like that. So this is a few things which I wanted to share, Mata. Very well.
Jai, very beautiful, bro. Three things: others' money, others' wives, or others' whatever. And third thing is, put yourself in that other person's shoes. Would you do this to yourself? Yes. Change of heart. Yes, Prabhu. Haribol. Thank you. Thank you for that. And Rupal Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, one quick question, because I always used to get confused with the mukti, the word mukti. Here it means that you go to impersonal Brahmin, but also mukti, does it mean like you go to Krishna? It is not called mukti because you are getting detached from the earth and you are becoming das of Krishna. So that is also one kind of mukti from this material world. So that is not termed as mukti at all.
Yeah, it is also liberation only, liberation from this material world. But for a devotee, the focus is not just getting liberated. The devotee's focus is service. So even if he goes to the spiritual world, his focus is how will I serve Krishna. Mukti alone is not a full focus. It happens as a byproduct. That's what Rupa Goswami says. It's a byproduct. Automatically you're getting liberated.
Right. We directly desire without doing anything. Our desire comes in. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
And I
Krishna
see so
Mataji, please
much.
accept my humble obeisances. All
Very well.
glories to Srila Prabhupada. Such a powerful class, Mataji. I really loved today's class too much. As usual, your class is full power break and full nectarian. But today's too much power. I like that. Thank you, Mataji, so much.
Thank you. Thank
And
you so much.
Mataji, if you have a desire to serve Radha and Krishna in Golok Dham, is it okay or no good?
Yeah. Service, no? Desire is for service. It's okay. Yes.
Yeah, service, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much for such wonderful class. Mataji, there are some comments that every devotee is very happy with the class. They are so enlightened. And thank you, Mataji. Thanks a lot for this session. This is qualification for Bhakti, Mataji. Qualification. So these are the qualifications we need to do Bhakti or to get Bhakti, Mataji?
Both. First qualification to start bhakti is some attraction. triggered by devotee association. To advance in bhakti, we need Shastriya Shraddha, and we should be averse to Bhukti Mukti by developing Vairagya. Meaning not Vairagya, but by developing some sort of a renunciation from material interests or material sense enjoyment. Then we can attain pure devotional service. Okay.
And we should not have the desire for Bhukti Mukti, but we should only desire for service of the Lord. And
Yes.
Mukti and whatever, it is a byproduct of our service to the Lord.
100%, yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. If dear devotees, if anyone has any questions or realizations, or we can pay our obeisances to Mataji. Okay, Mataji. Vancha kalpata rupyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Namo
Namo
Namah.
Namah.
Koটি
Guru Vishnu ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Vilasini Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you,
Vilasini
Vilasini Devi
Devi
Dasi
Mataji.
Thakur.
Krishna
Koti
Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Jai.
Jai